it on this chilly morning. Welcome, welcome. Now, I'm not looking at my messages. I just want to find a photo so I can read it to you. There you are. So this time of year, I think, can become quite frenetic as we head towards Christmas. And I'm a reformed people pleaser. I'm getting better at learning the art of saying no. And yet I still find myself saying no and then kind of making not excuses, because there's always a valid reason, but kind of qualifying it in some way and going on and on and on. And I think this time of year, there are lots of pulls on our energy, on our attention. And it's kind of learning to manage those expectations, knowing that, yes, we have to do some things to keep our friends and our family happy. Some things are expected. But also there are other things which maybe we don't need to attend everything. We don't need to say yes to everything for fear of offending somebody. So let this practice today be one where you show yourself some kindness, some care and compassion, and let everything you do come from that place with no expectations, no one else to please other than yourself. And I think this is one of the lovely things of doing it with Zoom. We're not looking over our shoulder at the next man and feeling that we ought to do what someone else is doing, or we should be doing that because someone else is doing it. This is entirely your practice and a chance really just to give it all to yourself at a time of year where perhaps we're giving little bits of ourselves to others. And I came up with this lovely quote, or I didn't come up with it, it's from a lovely Australian yoga teacher I follow. And she posted this the other day as a reminder to herself and a reminder to others. You don't need to fabricate huge excuses to say no to the things you don't want to do. You can simply say, no, thank you. A reminder to ourselves at this time of year, we can politely say, no, thank you. But hopefully we're going to say, yes, please, to some yoga this morning. So let's come to lie down on our mats. Ooh, lying down this morning, chilly morn. Let's see if we can warm ourselves up. So when you get there, bring your knees in towards your chest. Oh, give them a nice big hug in towards your belly. You can have one hand on each knee. You can lean up if you want to, and see if you can wrap your forearms around your knees for a deeper squeeze. That's not going to suit everybody. And maybe just have a little rock side to side. So a hand on the knee, or your forearms wrapped around your knees. Just come to a little self-soothe for the spine. A little rock, gently side to side. And then from there, just slowly bringing your feet down to the floor. About hip width apart, or maybe even wider this morning, so you can rest your knees against each other. Just picking up your head, perhaps to tuck your chin in, maybe your hips to lengthen your tailbone away from you, and then we'll place a hand on the chest, a hand on the lower belly. I'm just going to come up so I can talk to you. Ah, lovely. Whatever you're feeling this morning, whether you're full of beans, raring to go, or maybe you're feeling a little bit depleted already, maybe the to-do list is growing a little longer day by day. And that kind of slightly anxious feeling that can accompany this time of year is beginning to bubble up. So whatever you're feeling, don't try and resist it, just accept it, acknowledge it. Then our mantra for today, maybe for the rest of the day, maybe for the rest of the week, maybe for the rest of the month. Today, I will respond with kindness, care, and compassion. Today, I will respond with kindness, care, and compassion. So with the hand on the heart and the hand on the lower belly, as you breathe into your hands, let that weight of the hands be light, that light, compassionate touch of your hands on the body. Really embodying that intention of kindness and care through your hands today, through your touch. And the intention that everything we do in our practice today to come from that place of kindness and care for ourselves. No expectations to do anything more or less than the body requires. beginning to deepen and lengthen the breath, breathing away whatever the morning might have brought, whatever the week thus far might have brought. Breathing away thought of the rest of the day, the rest of the week. It will all be there for us to do once we've spent a little time to ourselves. And staying with that nice steady breath, let's go ahead and bring the knees back in towards your chest. We'll keep one hand on each knee this time. And this time we'll start to circle the knees round, so pushing the knees away from you and then bringing them in. As you start to do that little circle, you decide whether you want to keep your knees closer together or maybe sliding them apart, keeping your big toes touching, coming into a little wider circular motion there with the knees. Whatever position feels good for your back, for your hips, take that the opposite way now. The big movements might be a little bit more spacious depending on how the back feels this morning. Go ahead and stop with the knees in towards the chest. Bring the knees a little bit closer together if you have them wide. One hand on each knee. Give those knees a nice squeeze down towards your chest. Maybe feel the tailbone begin to pick up off the mat. An option to slide shoulders away from ears and come up into a little ball as you bring your nose towards your knees. Slowly release the head down. We'll take an inhale. Exhale as you squeeze the knees, maybe lifting those to knees. Stretching out through the upper back one more time. And exhaling. If it doesn't serve you to bring your head and shoulders off the floor, you just keep them down, hug those knees in, and then lowering the head, lowering the shoulders. And keeping the knees hugged in towards your chest, or if you're showing your back, a little care today, bring your feet to the floor as we bring the arms out level with your shoulders. And snuggle your shoulder blades down into the mat as you broaden out across your wingspan. Or take an inhale. And as you exhale, a little tick-tock of the knees, just over to the right, by about halfway. And then inhaling, drawing the knees back up through the middle. And then over to the other side. And just continuing with that little tick-tocking motion. And try and relax your lower legs. So those heels are just dropping down towards your bottom. There's no tension in the legs. It's all coming from the core. Maybe the head starts to turn in the opposite direction to your knees this morning. And if it feels good, when your knees come back to center this next time, pause. Lift your heels away from your bottom. And go ahead and just push the knees away from you a little bit so they're resting on top of your hips. Then you continue that little rock from side to side, keeping that right ankle at the back of the knees. A little bit harder work for our core, a little bit harder to keep those shoulder blades anchored down. So if that doesn't feel nice, remembering our intention to work with kindness and care. Drop those heels back down towards your bottom. Let's do one more over to the right side, and then one more over to the left side. No rush, we'll come back up through the middle. And taking those knees all the way down to the right now, bringing them down to the floor, either hugging those knees up towards your chest or go ahead and slide them a little further away from you. And adjusting yourself into that twist that suits you today. And keeping the gaze up towards the ceiling, bring your left hand onto your left shoulder. We'll just start to circle the elbow there. So we're getting a little bit of movement into that shoulder. Time of year and it starts to get colder, shoulders can end up being scrunched around our ears. So really nice just to release it there with some little circles one way and then the other direction. Again, making that movement as big or as small as feels nice. Oh, lovely. And then releasing both arms out to the side. Use an inhale to come up through the middle and then over to the other side. So again, the closer the knees are towards your chest, the deeper the twist. So adjust accordingly. Stretching the other arm out. Gazing up towards the ceiling, we'll bend the elbow and bring right hand to right shoulder. And that's when we start those little circles on the opposite side. I'm using my left hand just on the top of my knee or thigh there to bring those knees down towards the earth a little more, so you can go ahead and do that. Feels good. And then changing direction. And the opposite way. And then bringing both arms back out to the side. Let's come all the way back up through the middle. And keeping the knees bent, we're just going to lift the heels up and away from your bottom. Knees on top of hips. Bring your hands to the front of your knees, so your fingertips are pointing up towards the sky. And to invite a little bit of tension into the body, push your hands into your knees and your knees into your hands. Feel a little bit of bite in the belly there as you inhale. And as you exhale, release that tension. Let it go. And again, as you inhale, pressing hands into knees, knees into your hands. And then exhale as you let it go. One more like that. Pressing, pressing, pressing. And this time, drop the heels down towards your bottom. Again, have a little rock, have a little roll. And then knees to chest, holding on around the backs of the legs this time as we take both legs up towards the ceiling into a hamstring stretch. Have a little point, a little flex of the feet. You can pop a bend in the knees if that feels a little tight on the hamstrings. It's colder this morning, so muscles might feel a little tighter. And you can roll over to one side, or maybe use a bit of momentum to have a little rock up and down through the spine a couple of times if there's space. Woo! And then we'll come up to seated. Oh, a little roll, little roll. So coming to a cross-legged position, even if you can come into a tighter cross, I'll ask you this morning to keep it nice and loose. So crossing just at your ankles there, right foot in front of left foot. If that doesn't suit you, obviously stretch the legs out in front of you. Lovely, beautiful, relaxing the knees. Then sweep the arms all the way up. I'm bringing the fingertips to the floor. Start a little forward fold. So I like to kind of come down halfway, pause, and then take a little wiggle of my hips back, and then see if I can melt down a little further. And so as you slide those hands away from you, as far as feels comfortable, maybe tucking your chin in as you bow down over the legs. I've got my right leg in front, so I'm feeling a little pulling sensation on the outside of my right hip. And so keeping both sit bones connected to the floor as you melt your chest down. Lovely. Walking the hands back towards you and placing that right hand down by the right hip. Go ahead and soften the elbow as you take the left arm up, inhale. Softening the elbow as you come over the top, exhale. Through the middle, inhale. Swapping sides, so let there be a little softness in the underneath elbow. And then we push the floor away, coming all the way up. And all the way over. Lovely. Let's do one more over to the left side. Lovely. And then we'll reach both arms up towards the ceiling, interlacing the hands, push the palms up, get a lovely stretch through the side body, and then drop the arms just round the back, hugging your belly button towards your spine, upper arms by your ears as you get that lovely stretching between the shoulder blades. We'll come all the way up, big release as you swim the hands behind you now, up onto your fingertips, pressing the fingers down, rolling the shoulders down away from the ears, maybe lifting your chin, lovely stretch. And then release, just bringing the other ankle in front. So I've got left in front of right, sweeping the arms up, try and get a little bit of length, first of all, and try and keep that length as you bring the hands down in front of you. And again, take that little walk forwards. And I'm noticing straight away that this side feels a little bit tighter than the other side. So maybe I'm going to have to adjust here slightly, not come down quite so far. Treating the other side with, again, that kindness and care. So I'm feeling a pulling on the outside of my hip there, the outside of my thigh. And then walking back, left hand by the hip. A little softness in the elbow as you sweep that right arm up, breath in, over the top as you breathe out. And as you swap sides, you stay here keeping it nice and gentle. Maybe start to turn the top palm away from you and push it away. So you're getting a little bit more stretch between the ribs into the underarm, but you can always skip that bit. You can always keep the palm down if that doesn't work for you. Pushing the palm away. Maybe tucking your chin in and looking up. Let's do one more over to the left. Such a good stretch. Just that little adjustment of the hand can really open up some more space. One more over to the left. Lovely. And then bringing both arms up, interlacing the hands, pushing the palms up. Again, keep that length as you drop the arms, hugging the chin in towards the chest. Belly to spine as you take a little lean towards the back of your pelvis there. And then swimming the arms up, fingertips come behind you. So again, we can roll the shoulders down the back, opening up through the chest. And then release, coming round onto all fours. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. So a lovely tabletop position. And instantly, if your chest or shoulders feel tight today, give yourself some more space and just take your hands a little bit further apart there. The toes are flat, so you can press gently into the tops of the feet and the shins. Starting with that lovely cow pose, dip your belly, tilt your tailbone up, and just pause there as you pull your chest forwards. Keep pressing into your hands, feeling that lovely stretch through the front of the body there, up to the throat. And then we swap into that angry cat. Pressing into your hands again, we'll pause there for a breath or two. This again is when you might need to widen your hands to create more space between your shoulder blades. And then let's roll with the breath. So as we inhale, we bring the chest forwards, keep pressing into your hands. And exhale, rippling up like an angry cat. Back and forth we go, up and down the spine. Getting that lovely stretch in the front and the back of the body there. Creating space. Working with the breath. Lovely. And then coming to that nice tabletop position, we'll tuck the toes under. Keep your hands where they are, but send your bottom back towards your heels. And maybe just rock gently from side to side, so you're getting a nice stretch out through the balls of the feet. And maybe you can walk your hands back towards your knees, a little more, pressing into your palms, pressing into the balls of the feet. And maybe you can come up and sit on your heels, so your toes are tucked under. Let me turn sideways so you can see, toes are tucked under. That's it, that's not for everybody, so again, more kindness and care and compassion to feet. You're going to reach the arms up, again, interlacing the hands as you push the palms up, press down into the balls of the feet, everyone's favorite. Take a little side bend over to one side, it doesn't matter which way. And then coming all the way back, you can always flatten your feet. Coming over to the other side. Coming up through the center, if you can bear it one more time, hands come behind you, interlace them. Draw the palms down, bring the chest forwards. Ooh, lovely stretch out through the chest. And then release, coming down onto all fours, flattening the feet and giving those toes a little shake out there. Lovely. And press into your left knee so you can stretch the right leg all the way back behind you. And toes facing down as you inhale, and as you exhale, knee to chest, nose to knee, bring it in. So inhale, extend. And as you exhale, can you really press into your hands round the back? Lovely, twice more. Inhaling, heart pulls forwards. And exhale to squeeze and round. Inhale, extend. And this time as you exhale, bring that knee in towards your chest, pause. Come up onto your fingertips of your right hand, and then step or help your right foot forwards. Lovely. So we'll bring both hands to the inside of that front foot. You can adjust the back knee a little bit so you can sink into that left hip if that feels good. And this right arm, we're going to sweep forwards and up, and then opening the chest as you reach to the back of your mat. And then all the way up, and hands to the inside. So as you inhale, we open, twisting through the spine, and as you exhale, so it's your right knee that's in front and it's the right arm that's doing that big semicircle, maybe turning to the back of the mat. Let's do that one more time. So inhale. And exhaling, both hands coming to the inside of that front foot. We'll slide or step back onto all fours, hands under shoulders as you inhale. And as you exhale, bottom to heels, child pose. And you might want to stay there or continue to move with me onto all fours as you inhale, a little floor flow. Exhale down onto your belly. Pressing into your hands, back up through cobra, inhale. And exhaling, bottom to heels. One more time, see if it feels nice today. You can always, like I say, lie in child pose, have a little rest there. Or continue to flow with me. Last time, inhaling. And exhaling. Lovely, inhaling up. And exhaling into that child pose. So let's try that on the other side. So again, finding your way onto all fours. This time shifting the weight to your right knee. So as you extend the left leg back behind you, try and keep the hip bones pointing down to the floor. Pull up through the belly as you inhale. Exhale, knee to chest, nose to knee. Squeeze it in. Inhale, extend. And exhale to squeeze. Lovely. Twice more if it feels good. Maybe good is the wrong word to use. And next time we'll bring that knee in, we'll pause, really squeeze it in, press into your hands, come up onto the tips of your fingers on that left hand and step or help that left foot forwards. You can adjust the back knee and allow the hips to sink if it feels good, and both hands to the inside of that front foot. So this time we've got the left foot forwards. It'll be the left arm that sweeps forwards, up and back, come up towards the sky, and then all the way back. So inhale to reach up and back, and exhale to bring the hand down. Lovely. Big opening through the chest, maybe looking to the back of your mat if your neck feels okay with that this morning. Let's do that one more time. And both hands coming to the inside of that foot, inhaling onto all fours, separating the hands. Exhaling back into child pose, again to flow or not to flow, the choice is yours. Inhaling onto all fours with me and exhaling down onto your belly. Pushing up through cobra, inhale, bottom to heels, exhale. Twice more if it feels good. Oh, hugging those elbows in to help you come down in one straight line. And then peeling your way back up into that child pose. One more time. Down we go, and then chest picks up. This time as you come into your child pose, come onto the tips of your fingers and thumbs. So you can press your fingers down and hug your hips back towards those heels. We've got the option to stay here or to thread needle as you feed one arm under the other. It really doesn't matter which. And try and roll that top armpit up towards the ceiling there, taking a little lean into that underneath shoulder. Opening up some space. And then carefully feeding the other arm through as you swap sides. Again, leaning so you can roll that top armpit up towards the sky. And finding your way back onto all fours, tucking the toes under, we'll take an inhale. And as you exhale, start to push the hips up and back into your downward dog. From your downward dog, have a little easy walk through the feet, little pedal, little push. Keeping it nice and gentle. And if this doesn't serve you today, you can stay on all fours, do some more cat and cows, or have a resting child pose. Then coming to stillness in your downward dog as you pop a bend in both knees, send your rib cage back towards your thighs. And then think about sending the heels down towards the floor, keeping that height through the hips. And then we'll bend the right knee and take the right leg up and back behind you. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, step or help that foot forwards. Give it a hand and lower the back knee. Sweep the arms up, take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's bring both hands one on top of the other onto your lower belly. But take a nice deep breath in here. And exhale as you release. Let it go. Hand to chest this time. Inhaling into your chest, into those hands. And exhaling, release. Sweeping both arms up now. Take a big breath in. And as you breathe out, bringing both hands down, we'll pick up that back knee and step back into a downward facing dog. Option to come straight onto the knees and do this from all fours, or staying in downward dog as you inhale, pulling the body forwards to plank. And as you exhale, push those hips back, downward dog. Twice more, inhale, pulling forwards to plank, shoulders over wrists. And exhale, pushing back, downward dog. Last time, inhale. And exhale. This time we'll inhale and pull the body forwards to plank, pause. And then as you exhale, knees down, chest down, coming down onto your belly. Hands by the shoulders or widen them if you need more space, finding a cobra on your next inhale. Feeling the chest up. And exhale, lower down. Push back all fours, take an inhale. Tuck the toes, lift the hips downward dog. And again, a chance to have a little walk out here. Or sway the hips there. And then again, finding that height in the hips, a little softness in the knees, rib cage to thighs. Then we'll just bend the left knee this time, so that right leg gets a nice stretch. Floating the left leg up behind you, we'll take an inhale. And then step or help it forwards between the hands. Give it a hand if it doesn't get there as you lower the back knee. Arms lift up, take an inhale. And hands come to the lower belly, one on top of the other. Breathe into your hands, big breath in. And exhale, release. Hand to chest. Big breath in. And big breath out. Sweeping both arms up, breathing in. Hands coming down, exhale. Pick up the back knee. We'll step back into a downward dog. Again, you know the drill. We can come onto all fours, or again, as you inhale, pulling forwards to plank. And exhale, push back, downward dog. Twice more. So if this doesn't serve your shoulders, you can always do this from all fours, shifting forwards and back. One more time, inhale. And exhale. This time we'll inhale, come forwards to plank. Shifting the weight forwards, knees down, chest down, elbows hug in. Again, picking up the chest, your little cobra this morning as you inhale. And exhale to release. Back onto all fours, breathing in. Up into downward dog, breathing out. This time walking your feet towards your hands, coming to the top of your mat. From there, generous knee bend, a cradle at the elbows. And a little sway from side to side. Just allowing the head to hang down. You turn around to face you here. So you can stay here, or start to make that movement a little bit bigger. So next time you move over to the right side, you're going to come all the way up. So that left elbow leads the way as you come all the way up to stand. Coming over the top and down as you come up, down towards the left. So a big circle, left elbow leads you up, up, up. And then leaning over to the left, you come all the way down, changing direction. So you start by coming over to the left. So the right elbow brings you up. And then coming all the way down. One more like that. Inhale. Oh, nice. And exhale. Let go of the elbows. Hands on shins or thighs. As you inhale, come up halfway. Really stretch the back out. And exhale, release. This time pressing into your feet, rise all the way up to stand. Big breath in. Beautiful, hands to heart. Exhale, so standing at the top of your mat. Let's step the right leg back first of all, so make sure you've got some space. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, come forwards and down. Let's start to move with breath. Hands to shins or thighs, pulling the chest forwards. Take an inhale. And exhale to fold. Press into the feet, rise on up, big reach up. Hands to hearts. Exhale, twice more like that. Half sun salutes. Going to create our own sunshine at this time of year, haven't we? It's not long where the days start to lengthen though. We're nearly there at the darkest point of the year. And then things start to get a little better after the solstice. I think it's the 21st, isn't it? Last time, inhale. My mum always knows, ever the optimist. Lovely. Inhaling. And exhale, release. Last time, we'll rise all the way up. And hands coming to hearts. Beautiful. So letting the hands come down by the side of the body with the palms facing away from you. You're going to inhale and shrug the shoulders up. Now turn the palms forwards as you slide the shoulders down the back. Exhale. So as we inhale, palms face away. And then open up through the shoulders as you exhale. Lovely. One more time. Inhale, shrug them up. Oh, this time pausing in that lovely mountain pose. The shoulder blades rolling down the back, little fingers just down by the side of the legs. And then from there, sweeping the arms up, we'll take a breath in. As you breathe out, hinging forwards, coming into your forward folds. Lifting up halfway, take an inhale. And as you exhale, slide or step right leg back and bring the knees down. Sweeping the arms up, let's take an inhale. Straight back down as you exhale. Now press into your hands, pick up that back knee. Keep doming the upper back as you inhale into plank. And as you exhale, shift the weight forwards and down. Use those knees if you need to. Lifting up into your cobra, or maybe a little cheeky downward upward dog if that's for you this morning. And then we all meet in downward facing dog. Pausing there, maybe walking your feet in a step or two so you can really send those hips high. Right leg will float up. This time bend the knee, opening up as you point the knee up towards the ceiling. Keep pressing into your right hand as you take 3 nice big circles with that knee. Inner thigh, brushing inner thigh. You can make the movement a little smaller or really expand and open into that hip. And after that third circle, we'll extend that leg all the way back behind you as you inhale. Exhale, step that foot forwards. Lower the back knee. Lovely. Keeping the toes tucked under this time as you inhale, arms lift. And exhaling, hands to heart, pressing the palms together. Inhaling up. Energy between the arms, so elbows sent out left to right. Exhale. That's it. One more time. Inhale. And exhale, hands to heart, pressing the palms together. Then take a little twist round towards the right, towards that bent knee. Then leaning forwards, we're going to hook left elbow over that right knee. Palms pressed down, sending that top elbow up towards the sky. And you might stay there, lifting your chest towards your thumbs. Or I like to look down here for a little bit of balance, so I can lift the back knee up. Make sure you've not pushed that right hip out to the side. Hug that right hip in as you come into that twist. It's always optional to lift the knee. And then looking down, both hands come down. Stepping to the top of your mat as you inhale into that gazing pose. And exhale to fold. Let's rise on up to stand. Big breath in. Hands to heart. Exhale. Lovely. Arms down by the side of the body. Again, palms away from you. As you inhale, shrug those shoulders up. And then palms forwards. Exhale. Lovely release through the shoulders. Twice more. It is that time of year where shoulders end up somewhere around our ears, isn't it? So nice to let them go. One more time. Inhale. Palms facing forwards. Again, finding that lovely mountain pose as you find your foundations lengthening down through the tailbone. And then again, we'll sweep the arms up. Inhale. Exhale as you fold. All of that on the other side. So lifting the chest as you inhale. Left leg this time. Slide or step it back. Or lower the knee. Beautiful. Arms lift up. Breathing in. And then breathing out. Bring hands down. Pause. Press into your hands as you pick up the back knee. Really spread the shoulder blades as you inhale into your plank, keeping your shoulders over your wrists. And exhale, come down onto your belly. Your cobra, or maybe a little upward dog, pressing into palms of hands, tops of feet. And we'll meet in downward dog. It's nice and high. The upper arms hugging the ears. As you take that left leg up this time, bending the knee, opening up into the hip. Keep pressing into your left hand as you circle the knee. So trying to keep further evenness across the upper back. The shoulders on the same level there. So you take those 3 nice big circles. That's it. Lovely. And then extending that left leg all the way back behind you. We'll take inhale and exhale, step or help it forwards. And we'll lower the back knee. I'm going to keep my toes tucked. Sweeping the arms up, breath in. Hands to heart, sending the elbows out left to right. Twice more, inhale. And exhale as you send the hands down through the middle. Lovely. One more time, inhale. Hands coming to heart. Option now, we can stay there. We can take that little twist to the left this time. You can stay there with hands at heart or leaning forwards. Right elbow over left knee. Pressing your palms together so that top elbow points up. Lifting your chest towards your thumbs. And again, I'm going to look down so I can pick up that back knee, tucking that left hip in and back. A little bit more strength there, so do what you need, what you can. And then releasing both hands down. As you inhale, step forwards, top of the mat. And as you exhale, fold. Let's rise on up, breathing in. Hands coming to heart. Exhale. Beautiful. So feet hip width apart. Let's reach the arms up, take an inhale. And as you exhale, find your chair pose. So again, you can keep your hands up by your ears, you can bring the arms forward, you can keep the hands to your heart. Whatever feels good. If you've got the arms up, just give yourself a little space. Take them nice and wide as you sink down into your heels. And then as you inhale, we're going to rise up to stand. And exhale, sink all the way back down. Pressing into the feet, rising up, inhale. Woo! Exhale, sink down. Warming up through the legs. Inhale, rise up. Pausing in that chair pose. Option to stay there or swim the hands behind you, interlacing the hands as you draw the knuckles down, take an inhale, and we'll fold forwards over those bent legs and lift the arms up and overhead. If that doesn't serve your shoulders, bring both hands down in front of you. We'll meet in a forward fold. Lovely, releasing those arms. Sweeping the arms all the way back up, rising up, take an inhale. And this time straight back down, exhale. Lifting up halfway, breathing in. And we'll step back into your downward facing dog. And from your downward dog, you're going to turn your left foot out about 45 degrees. And then step that right foot forwards between your hands. So feet hip width apart, readying for a warrior one. Lovely. Now rise on up into that warrior one. Pressing that front shin forwards as you press out through the outside edge of that back foot. And then from there, hand onto the lower belly. You're going to straighten that front leg as you inhale, breathing into your hands. And as you exhale, sink into your warrior one. Hand to chest. As you inhale, straighten the legs. Sink a little deeper as you exhale. Sweeping both arms up, straighten the legs, take an inhale. And as you bend that front knee, we're going to come into a warrior two. So a little clumsy transition really, but just move that front foot forwards a little way so you can straighten out the arms left to right. We'll take an inhale there. And as you exhale, sink a little bit deeper. Beautiful. And then turning that front palm up as you inhale, reach forwards. And as you exhale, arc the body all the way back. Inhale through center. Forearm or hand to thigh as you come over the top this time. Lovely. Inhaling into your warrior. Over the top as you exhale. Inhale through the center. Coming over the top into that side angle and then pausing as you come back into your warrior. Now we've got the option to repeat that or make little claws with your hands, little hooks, and you're going to hook one hand over the other. So pull those hands apart, feel that openness through the chest. Take the arms overhead and pull on those hands. Lovely. We'll take an inhale. And as you exhale, take a little lean back, still pulling on those hands. Inhale through center. Take a little lean forwards, trying to pull those hands apart. Lovely stretch into the armpit. One more inhale. You can always release the arms out left to right. One more, keep pulling those little claws apart. Oh, coming all the way back into your warrior. Oh, release the arms. Feel that one. Turning all 10 toes forwards or reach up. Inhale. Exhale into your forward fold. Maybe fingertips reach the floor. Maybe you need a block or a brick, or you can place your hands on your thighs. Just drop the weight back into the heels. So you're pushing the hips back. As you bring the chest forwards, take an inhale. Then as you exhale, sink into that forward fold. We've got the option to stay there. You can walk your hands back in line with your feet. You can turn your fingertips away from you and draw the body in a little closer. All of those options. Or keeping the hands forwards and maybe lifting your chest if a deep forward fold doesn't suit you today. Breathing into the backs of the legs. And we'll all walk the hands forwards. Just bring the chest forward, so hands underneath the shoulders as you push the hips back. Let's take that right arm up, so let the hips move as you open up into that twist, and then come all the way down. Left arm lifts up, so again, keeping the chest forwards, letting the pelvis move a little bit. One more time each way. Inhale, chest opens. And exhale, come down. Last time with that left arm. And we'll come all the way down, lovely. So we're going to take a little walk towards that right foot. So turning all 10 toes towards the top of your mat, facing forwards, pushing off the back foot. And as you inhale, come to the top of your mat into your flat back. And exhale to fold. You're going to rise on up, big breath in. Hands to heart, exhale. So let's try that on the other side. So arms lift, take an inhale. And then find that chair pose again, adjusting the arms according to what's going on with your shoulders. Sink a little deeper. Maybe you give those toes a little wiggle, knowing the weight's back in the heels. And then inhale, rise. And exhale, sink back down into that chair. Coming a little deeper each time, maybe inhale, rising on up. And exhale to sink. One more time, inhale. This time we'll hold our chair pose option. Swim the hands behind you so you can interlace them. Draw the knuckles back, lift the chest, take an inhale. Legs stay bent as you melt down, maybe lifting the arms up and over, tucking the chin in. And maybe try straightening the legs a little bit here, see how that feels. And then releasing the hands onto your low back, sweeping the arms forwards and up, rising up to stand. Straight back into that forward fold, exhale. Lifting up halfway, breath in. And we'll step back into that downward facing dog. So this time, you're going to turn your right toes slightly out to the side. So we can step your left foot forwards this time. Left foot facing forward. So adjusting your feet. And rise on up into that warrior one. Bending that front knee, pressing out through the outside edge of the back foot. And then hands come down onto the lower belly. Pushing the floor away, straightening the legs, or take an inhale, hips and heart are forwards. Exhale back into your warrior. Hand to heart this time, inhale, just like we did in that low lunge. And sinking down a little bit lower. Beautiful. Arms lift up, straighten the front leg. And as you exhale, opening up into your warrior two, go ahead and adjust your feet if you need to, bringing that front foot into the middle of the mat. We'll take an inhale and sink a little deeper as you exhale. Beautiful. Front palm turns up. We'll lean forwards, take an inhale, and then reaching back into your reverse warrior. Through the middle, breath in. Over the top, breathing out. That's it, inhaling. Reaching back, so we're keeping the legs as they are. We're hinging from the hips. Inhale through the middle. And over the top. And then coming back into your warrior, so you can repeat or make those little claws and then swap your claws over. So invariably we'll have gone the same way. So swap the claws over. Reaching up, pulling on those claws. So we'll take an inhale and lean back as you exhale to get a nice stretch through the side body. Inhale. Keep pulling on those little claws over the top. Inhale through center. Last time to lean back. Try to keep the chest open. Inhale. Woo! Keep pulling on those claws. Coming all the way back, releasing the arms. Oh, that feels good. Turning the toes forwards, take an inhale. Oh, let's hinge forwards. Exhale. Allowing the body a moment there. So again, finding a block or a brick or hands to thighs if that doesn't serve your back. Lifting the chest as you inhale. As you find your forward fold, this time maybe choosing a different variation, maybe hands around the ankles if you can come into a deep forward fold. Again, you can feed your hands back between the legs, palms flat to the floor, fingertips pointing away from you, or you can keep the hands under your shoulders and your heart lifted. Breathing into the back of the body. And we'll bring the hands forward. We're going to come into a little variation on that twist this time. So turning your right toes out ever so slightly, walking both hands over towards that right foot, popping a little bend in the knee there as you drape your body over that right leg. You can stay there, or with the left hand on the inside of the right foot, or you can bring it onto the foot or onto the outer shin. Then lift the chest as you take that right arm up into a twist. It's a tricky pose for balance, so you can always keep your hand on the floor. And then bringing both hands down, Turning the right toes forwards, turning the left toes out as you walk the body round over that left leg. Pop a little bend in the knee, drape the body down. And you can stay there, or right hand can be on the inside of the foot. You can bring it on the foot or hold the shin or the ankle as you take the left arm up this time. Lovely, lowering all the way down. Just bringing the body back to center. And then turning all the way over that left foot. This time we're going to turn all 10 toes forwards towards the top of your mat. And stepping back into your downward dog now. From your downward dog, widening your feet, dropping down onto all fours. From all fours, put your big toes together. Ease your hips back towards your heels. Maybe extend the arms, or maybe make a little pillow for your head. Taking those elbows out nice and wide so you can melt your body down. And if it doesn't feel nice with your knees wide, obviously bring them so they're parallel. Pausing there just to catch your breath. Now we're going to come into pigeon pose now. So if you know that pigeon pose doesn't serve you, the option is to come and lie down on your back and take a reclined pigeon with the ankle over the opposite knee. Or joining me now as you find your way back onto all fours. I'm going to come into pigeon from downward dog, but you can always find pigeon from all fours. I'm going to take that right leg all the way up and back behind me, and bringing the knee to my chest. Bringing that right knee behind my right wrist. And so you've got the shin diagonally placed along your mat. Sliding the left leg back behind you. If you find you're rolling onto that right buttock, you can always pop a cushion or a rolled up jump underneath your right buttock. So you're squaring yourself up to the top of the mat. A little variation here. So taking the hands out nice and wide on the outside edges of your mat. Press into your fingertips so you can lift your chest, or take an inhale. And as you exhale, stretch the chest forwards and down towards the mat. And then inhale, rise back up. So it's like a little wave-like sensation, and then stretch the belly forwards and down. One more time, inhale. This time as you exhale, option to make that little pillow for your forehead as you melt down over the legs. So you can stretch both arms out in front of you, space permitting. But you can even keep your hands on the outside edges of your mat in king pigeon and lift your chest. So doing whatever feels nice, so you can feel that sense of stretched and yet the feeling of release in the hip. Breathing into wherever you feel those sensations around the hip, maybe around the outer hip. That's it. More restorative pose now, just beginning to soothe the nervous system before we stretch it out. You're already lifting your chest, walking the hands back towards you. You can either swap legs, lying down as you are, if you're lying on your back, or pressing into your hands so you can push back up into downward dog or all fours. Maybe have a little stretch there, and then we'll swap sides. So this time we'll take the left leg up and back, bringing that knee to your chest, and then angling that shin diagonally across your mat. Just check that that right leg is sliding right back behind you. We're not skewing it out to the side there, so you might have a little peek behind you. And then hands come nice and wide up onto your fingertips. We'll lift the chest, take an inhale, and then stretching the belly down as you exhale. Inhale, waving up. And exhale to stretch and reach forwards and down. One more time, inhale. This time as you exhale again, options to stay lifted, or again, making that little pillow. I quite like to support my head there. Releasing as you come all the way down. And again, just settling there. Breathing again into any tight spots you feel around the hips. Again, when you're ready, just lifting yourself up. This time just leaning into that left side so you can sweep the right leg out, both legs out in front of you. Give the knees a little shake there. Just taking one hand, just slide it underneath your sit bone there so you can move the flesh back so you're right up on your sit bone, and then do that on the other side so you really feel a connection with your sit bones to the floor. Just helps us to prevent that leaning back action. We'll reach the arms up. As you fold forwards, being as generous with that knee bend as you need to this morning. So you melt the body down over the legs. Chin tucking in, lengthening out through the back. Slowly coming all the way back up. Bringing that right heel in towards you. Foot can stay on the inside or crossing it to the outside. You can even take that little lean to one side, but just make sure that whatever variation of the legs, you've got that feeling of sitting nice and balanced across your sit bones. Left hand or elbow gives the knee a squeeze, and take a big circle with that right arm. Fingertips coming to the floor, or maybe just wrapping the arm around your low back. And just from here, have a little nod of your head up and down just to release any tension from the neck. Really slowly, just gentle nods up and down a couple of times. Lovely. And then lifting the chin, maybe having a little look over that back shoulder as you lift your chest. And coming all the way back through the middle, just take a little swizzle around in the opposite direction. Coming back to center, releasing the legs, giving them a little shake. And then we'll swap sides, so left heel in this time. So again, all of those variations, whatever works for you today. Right hand or elbow hugs the knee in. Big circle with the left arm. Again, hand to the floor, right behind you or resting on the back. And again, maybe close the eyes and just take a couple of nods up and down. Just a couple of times there. And then maybe you're able to turn and look over that back shoulder. Lifting the chest, so keeping that nice sense of pulling up and out of your hips. And then coming back through center, take that little D twizzle in the opposite direction. And then unravel the legs. Popping a jumper on if you're in a cooler room as you make your way down onto your back. Just bring those knees with you and have a little rock or a roll from side to side. Just releasing the back. Lovely. And then hugging that right knee in towards your chest. And take that left leg all the way up towards the ceiling, flexing the foot. And very, very slowly extending that leg all the way down until the heel touches the floor. Hugging that right knee in a little closer. And then maybe allowing that right knee just to open out towards your armpit as you stretch out into the hips. Try to keep the left toes up towards the skull. Lovely, bringing that right knee back in towards your chest. Point the toes on the left foot, and this time we'll come back the way we came. We sweep the leg all the way up. And then bending the knee in, we'll swap sides. So right leg extends up, nice stretch out for the hamstring as you flex the foot. Pausing there just for a moment. And then lower that leg down, down, down with control, pushing the heel away from you as you bring that knee in towards your chest, and maybe allow that little opening into the hip. Bring the toes of that right leg up towards the sky. And the knee coming into chest, point the toes, sweeping the right leg up, back the way we came. Hugging both knees in. Again, maybe a little rock, a little roll. Maybe your nose comes up towards your knees, finding that little ball shape. And lower the head, lower the shoulders. There's something else you need to do if you want a twist or maybe a happy baby before you come into Shavasana. Do whatever you need to do. And then come into a comfortable position, either stretching the legs out in front of you or bringing both feet back down to the floor. Again, taking a moment to arrange the body carefully and comfortably, tucking the chin in, making those little adjustments through the hips. Again, maybe the hands are resting lightly on the body. Maybe this time you want them down by the sides, whatever works for you. Breathing out, allow the body just to sink a little bit deeper into the mat. Again, really important that we take this time, particularly at this time of year, to create these little pockets of space for ourselves. Giving ourselves permission to feel whatever we feel at this time of year, which can be a whole mixture of emotions for different people. But reminding ourselves that today I will respond with kindness, care, and compassion. Maybe trying to extend that to those whose paths you cross today. Today I will respond with kindness, care, and compassion. So with your eyes closed, just again taking that moment to turn the sensations of the spotlight inwards now. Slowly now, just beginning to deepen and lengthen your breath. Getting ready to face the rest of the day, the rest of the week. Maybe have a little roll across the back of your head, a wiggle of fingers and toes, getting the sensations and circulation going again. And slowly, maybe have a nice full body stretch or yawn, any movement that feels good before you hug your knees in towards your chest. Take your time. And with your knees hugged in, take a little roll and rock. And then let that take you onto one side, and from there come up to seated. Your time. Lovely. Let's place one hand on the chest, one hand on the lower belly. Allow your chin to drop down, but think about lifting, almost lengthening the space between your hands now. hands together, take a nice deep breath into our hands. And as you exhale, feel the shoulders slide down away from the ears. Let's do that one more time. As you inhale, you try and separate those hands. And exhale, try and keep that length as you release. This time we'll sweep both arms up, maybe lifting the chin. And hands to heart. Chin bowing down over your fingertips, just wishing one another a good day, a good week. And I thank you for sharing the practice. Thank you, thank you. Oh, there we go.
Thank you, Helen.
Thank you, thank you.